After making a name for himself in one of the world's highest-stakes sports, Dana White decided to venture into something new, equally dangerous, but a lot less conventional. And when fans pointed out the flaws in his Power Slap League promotion, he slapped them right back. White said those who didn't agree with it shouldn't watch it. In a world where ratings are everything and you rely on people tuning in to watch your program, Dana White has told fans not to tune in and watch the Power Slap League. Not everyone though, just the fans who think it's absolutely insane, so a major portion of them. But White couldn't be any less bothered by their concerns. He said that every participant in the promotion has been vetted by a team of medical professionals, with regular check-ins for their health. Plus, they had on-site medical teams. Basically, White claimed that everything that he'd supplied at the UFC was made available here. He also likened the controversy surrounding the Power Slap League with the controversy the UFC had faced earlier on. White claimed that everyone who had a problem with the new promotion didn't know what they were talking about, and he'd do just fine without them. But it's not just fans who have a problem with the Power Slap League. Former UFC fighter Brendan Schaub also thinks it's insane. Someone sitting at home, who's probably never been in any high-stakes competition in their entire life, hold little to no authority in calling out Dana White for what he believes is a perfectly legitimate and safe operation, right? Probably. However, what if someone who's been in a high-stakes, adrenaline-packed fighting ring takes up issue with the Power Slap League? You'd have to listen to what they're saying. And Brendan Schaub doesn't just want you to listen to what he has to say, he wants you to look at all the evidence that clearly points toward the Power Slap League being brazenly insane. Schaub is referring to two instances from the newly formed league's first season. Power Slap Road to the title. The first one was when Courtney Olsen was knocked down by Sheena Bathory's thunderous slap. She seemed fine at first, a bit shook, sure, but nothing unlike what you'd expect from someone who'd just been slapped. But then, as Olsen tried to get back up, people realized something had gone terribly wrong. The Power Slap contender tried to stand up, but rolled over and fell right back down. There was an audible gasp in the audience, and even her opponent rushed to her to see if everything was all right. Chris Thomas, however, was a lot less humble. When he knocked over Chris Kennedy, he immediately took a lap across the stage with his fists in the air. Meanwhile, Kennedy was lying on the ground, convulsing. That's right, his opponent was on the ground with his hands rolled into fists and his entire body twitching. But remember what Dana said, it's perfectly safe. Yeah, right. Tell that to boxing promoter Sam Jones, another high-profile critic of the Power Slap League. Dana said that the same people who were being critical of his new promotion were the same people who'd tune in to watch men and women throw close to 400 punches against one another during every fight. But now, when it's just down to 5 or 6 slaps, they seem to have a problem with it. The way Dana phrased this made it seem like he was amazed at the math. But according to neurologists, slapping someone with all of your might until either one submits or is knocked down is a recipe for disaster. Sam Jones might not be a neurologist, but he knows a thing or two about giving it all your might. According to the boxing promoter, he couldn't fathom what was going through White's head when he announced the Power Slap League. I believe his exact words were, "ridiculous and dangerous. Nobody should be giving this any kind of platform, and Dana White saying he takes fighters' health seriously is quite laughable when he's endorsing this shit." But no one said it better than the founder of the Concussion Legacy Foundation. Chris Novinsky asked, "What's next? Who can survive a stabbing?" You heard it from fans, you heard it from fighters, and then from a boxing promoter. If you're still unconvinced, let's hear it from a former wrestler and PhD neuroscientist at Harvard University. Chris Novinsky has had his fair share of time inside the ring. He's since dedicated his time to educating people on what could go wrong if you're not careful. And he believes that everything that Dana is promoting with the Power Slap League is what could go wrong. He retweeted the video of Chris Kennedy lying on the floor with his hands curled up into fists and twitching, clearly convulsing, and captioned it with, "This is so sad, he may never be the same again," hinting at possible brain injury. White might not be ready to accept it, but the truth is that slap leagues have been around for a long time. Polish slap fighter and bodybuilder named Artur Walczak was knocked down 4 times and suffered a cerebral hemorrhage as a punch-down event in Wrocław, Poland. The 46-year-old was taken to the hospital, placed in a medically induced coma, and ultimately died in November from multi-organ failure, according to Polish reports. Authorities launched an investigation into the slap fighter's death, but nothing came of it. Eventually, Punchdown started promoting its events under a different name. This just adds more weight to Nowinski's statements. Power slapping is dangerous. But besides the dangers of being slapped by a physically fit opponent, fans have taken issue with the newly formed league for one more thing. That is, the fact that Dana slapped his own wife ahead of the promotion's debut. No, I know what you're thinking, and no, Dana did not slap his wife to market the Power Slap League. That'd be a new low. What's equally low, unfortunately, is slapping your wife for any reason at all. Video footage of the duo arguing at El Squid in Mexico on New Year's Eve went viral in January 2023. The short clip showed the two of them exchanging words, drinking quite a bit, and then eventually throwing hands at one another. Dana was seen leaning over his wife, who had her hands cupping her face. She tried to move past him, but Dana held onto her shoulder. At this point, his wife, Ann White, turned around and slapped him. Without missing a beat, Dana slapped her right back. That's when everyone else on the balcony intervened and separated the two. Had they not, the two looked like they were out for blood. After the video went viral, Dana pushed back the Power Slap League's original debut date from January 11th. Instead, he issued an apology and held an interview with TMZ where he explained how sorry he was for how he acted that day. For context, Dana had previously claimed that he couldn't understand how anyone would lay their hands on a woman for any which reason. He also called out major sports organizations for allowing convicted assaulters on their rosters, notwithstanding the fact that he's had more than a few of his own over the years. But I guess it's fair play when it comes to Dana White, right? To be fair, he acknowledged that he was wrong, apologized, and claimed that nothing would ever make it better. He also said that while it wasn't an excuse, he and his wife were heavily intoxicated that night. They have since apologized to one another and have asked the public for space to deal with the aftermath of the incident as a family. We'll see how that goes. See you in the next video.